Chapter 1 Whispers in the royal court in the heart of an ancient kingdom, known for its towering gates and bustling marketplaces, lived a minister celebrated for his remarkable wisdom. For years he had served the king faithfully, offering advice on matters of war, trade, justice, and the well-being of the people. His ability to foresee problems before they arrived and solve them before they grew had earned him admiration from the citizens. Yet in the quiet corners of the palace, whispers of jealousy stirred. Some courtiers felt overshadowed by his brilliance, and their envy turned into secret resentment. One morning, after a gathering with the townsfolk, the king returned to the court with an amused expression. As the assembly sat around him, he looked at the minister and said lightly, "You are clever, sometimes too clever, but it surprises me that your son does not resemble you. He seems to possess very little sense." A ripple of laughter passed through the hall. The minister, who rarely showed emotion, felt a sting in his heart. He bowed respectfully and asked, "Your Majesty, what leads you to think my son lacks sense?" The king leaned back and said, "Every morning when I walk through the marketplace, I see your son standing among the people. To entertain myself I place 2 coins before him, one gold and one silver. Then I ask him which one is more valuable, and every day he chooses the silver coin. Tell me, how can the son of the wisest man in my kingdom not know that gold is worth more?" More laughter followed. The minister lowered his gaze, troubled more by the humiliation of his son than the mockery directed at him. He excused himself from the court and hurried home, determined to uncover the truth behind his son's strange behavior. When he arrived, he called his son to him. "My child," he began gently, "I have something important to ask. Which metal is more valuable, gold or silver?" The boy answered at once, "Gold, father. Gold is worth far more." The minister's confusion deepened. "If you know this," he asked, "why do you tell the king that silver is more valuable? Why choose the silver coin every day?" The boy did not explain immediately. Instead, he said, "Please come with me, father. There is something I must show you." He led the minister to his small room. From beneath his bed, he pulled out a wooden box. When he opened it, the minister's eyes widened. The box was filled with silver coins, dozens of them, shining brightly even in the dim light. The minister looked at his son in disbelief. How had he collected so many coins, and why had he been hiding this from everyone? The boy smiled calmly, as though he had been waiting for this moment. "Father," he said softly, "there is a reason the king thinks I am foolish." And with that, the boy prepared to reveal his secret. Chapter 2 The son's secret wisdom. The minister stood silently, his gaze fixed on the glittering pile of silver coins. Each coin represented a day, perhaps many days, of the same strange ritual between the king and his son. At last he asked, "How did these coins come into your possession?" The boy folded his hands behind his back and replied, "Father, these are the coins the king gives me each morning, the very same silver coin you have seen me choose." "But why?" the minister pressed. "Why choose silver when you know that gold is worth far more? Why allow yourself to be mocked?" The boy motioned for his father to sit, then spoke with a maturity beyond his years. "Every morning, when the king passes through the marketplace, he enjoys testing the common people. Most of them fear him, but when he sees me, he finds amusement in offering me the 2 coins and asking his question. If I choose the gold coin even once, the game will end. The king will lose interest. He will stop offering the 2 coins, and I will stop receiving the silver coin every day." The minister blinked. "So you choose the silver coin deliberately?" "Yes," the boy answered. The king laughs, the courtiers laugh, and they walk away believing I am too simple to know the difference between gold and silver. But while they laugh for a moment, I earn a silver coin each day. What would I gain by taking 1 gold coin only once, when I can collect many silver coins over time? The king enjoys the game, and I quietly benefit from it. So tell me, father, Is it foolishness to allow others to laugh when their laughter gives me something valuable in return? The minister felt his breath catch. The boy's reasoning was clear and surprisingly strategic. What the court had seen as stupidity was actually patience, foresight, and an understanding of human nature. The boy continued, "People often react based on what they believe, not what is true. They see a child choosing the lesser coin and assume he knows no better. They never consider that he might have a reason. In their eyes I appear foolish, but in reality I simply avoid drawing unnecessary attention. I let the king believe what he wants because it harms no one and benefits me. And father," he smiled playfully, "it is easier to collect wealth quietly than to defend wisdom loudly." The minister laughed, a soft, relieved laugh that carried both pride and admiration. "My son," he said, placing a hand on the boy's shoulder, "you have taught me something today. Not all wisdom announces itself. Sometimes the greatest intelligence lies in allowing others to underestimate you." Father and son sat together for a while, the quiet room filled with an understanding more powerful than the morning's humiliation. The minister realized that the boy's intelligence was not merely cleverness. It was a deeper form of wisdom, one that grew from observation, patience, and humility. When he returned to the palace, the minister held his head high. He no longer feared the laughter of the court, for he knew something they did not, that the boy they mocked was wiser than many adults who claimed brilliance. Chapter 3 Lessons for the World. The following day, when the minister entered the court, he carried a calm smile. A few courtiers exchanged knowing glances, expecting him to confront the king or feel ashamed. But the minister neither defended himself nor tried to justify his son's actions. Instead, he simply continued his work, offering advice with the same confidence as always. Days turned into weeks, and occasionally someone would mockingly mention the minister's son. Each time, the minister responded only with a soft smile, one that confused the court but warmed his own heart. He knew that the people who laughed the loudest were often the slowest to understand. Meanwhile, the boy continued visiting the marketplace. Every morning, just as he predicted, the king approached with 2 coins and the same question: which is more valuable, gold or silver? Each morning the boy chose the silver coin, and each morning the king laughed. But something quiet and remarkable began to happen. People in the marketplace, especially the merchants who observed everything closely, started to take notice. They were not fooled by the laughter of the court. They saw how the boy gathered his coins, how he never argued, and how he remained steady in his behavior. The merchants whispered among themselves, "Perhaps the boy knows more than he lets on. Why else would he choose silver every day? Maybe the king thinks he is entertaining himself, but the boy might be gaining more." Gradually, a few townsfolk began to admire the boy's calmness. They noticed that he did not boast about his growing collection of silver coins. He did not defend himself against the king's laughter. He simply carried on, focused, patient, and quietly successful. One merchant finally approached the boy and asked, "Young man, why do you accept the silver coin every day? Surely you know gold is worth more." The boy smiled gently. "The king enjoys giving me a silver coin daily. If I choose the gold coin once, he will never offer again. I choose what lasts longer, not what shines brighter." The merchant nodded, impressed. "Wisdom does not always shout," he murmured. And that truth began spreading from person to person, until it reached even the palace. Soon many understood that the world's judgments are often superficial. People laugh at what they do not understand. They label others foolish without knowing the full story. Yet true wisdom, like a river, runs deep and quiet. The minister's pride grew as he watched his son mature into a thoughtful young man. He knew that the boy's lesson was not just for the king, nor for the court, but for anyone who had ever been mocked for thinking differently. In time, the story of the foolish boy became a tale of hidden intelligence. And whenever someone felt discouraged by criticism or misjudgment, the minister would share his son's example. If you know that your path is right, do not fear the world's laughter. Many of the greatest minds were once called foolish. So remember, dear reader, do not chase the applause of the world. Do not bend under the weight of others' opinions. Be patient, be grateful, and keep moving forward. For sometimes the ones who appear foolish are the ones who see the world most clearly.